Welcome back, everyone, to Turn to Page. Today, we are going to talk about the knife of never letting go. I always forget. um,
I didn't realize that they had individual names. Like,
you just
because
thought, well,
you just kept saying Chaos Walking, so I thght it was like 1, 2, and 3. And then when I was looking for the audiobook, I was like, I don't see it. What do you mean
like,
he wants me to listen to it? I don't see it on here. And then I saw, like, I think the second book in your room, and I was like, oh,
oh
my bad.
my god. Okay, yes, this is a trilogy. I have them right here. We're just going to talk about the first one, though, for today. But before that, um, with me, I'm David. With me, as always, is.
Alexis.
Mhm. How are you today?
I am good. Hello.
Cool. So we did not read any books. We didn't really have a lot of time.
I did. I just reread books.
That don't count. Anyway.
It counts. It's just not anything new,
Mhm.
except for the one that we're gonna talk about.
Yeah. Again, we didn't read anything new books this time, but we do have a cool little story to tell. When was this ago? How long has it been?
When was this ago?
I
It's
know.
been like a month.
Oh my god.
It was beginning of March.
Last month, there was a event called Tucson Festival of Books. Uh, and when we were there, we found out that this was the second biggest book festival in the U.S.
Yeah,
First one being in L.A. and then third, I think,
Chicago.
Chicago. Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah, I think that's what he said.
We had been planning to go. Well, I found out about it. It's been a few months, and then I saw like the people that were gonna attend, and I was like, wait, who?
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't realize that it was like that big.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got there, and I don't even know who told us. Oh, it was the guy with the kids book.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he let us know that yeah, it's like the second biggest one in the U.S. And we were like, wait, and it was pretty big. Like it's held at the U of A, University of Arizona, and it's like a big old long street, and it's literally like from one end to the other, and then they use the classrooms as like rooms for like the authors to go and like talk to people and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
to have panels in. There's like a whole kids section like on the other side. It
Mm-hmm.
was, yeah, like it's big.
And there
It's really
was
big.
like I guess science section or learning section
Mm-hmm.
in there too. Like literally, people had animals at the event, and just to kind of get people educated, hopefully get invested on either animal stuff, plant
Not like
stuff, or doctors.
live animals. I mean, I
I
don't
think
know.
there
It
were
still
some
sounds bad.
live
It
animals.
was like I don't know how to explain it. I mean, cuz it's literally every genre that you can think of like was there. There was
Mm-hmm.
like wildlife stuff, and I mean that's like very Arizona.
Yeah.
um Things like that. And so yeah, they had like the science section, and um I mean it was a lot of like recruiting to go there to school
To
also,
school, there were
which is
some.
fine.
Yeah, there were some
um
tents that had like religion and stuff. There were
all types of religion, not just like one.
no, yeah, all types of religion, and then just some fantasy stuff. I think there was one that was like all about dragons or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was cool, and some other, and then some of them weren't books. We saw the Loft Cinema have a tent of their own. I got a pin. Wait, I have it here.
That's like the independent movie
Yeah.
theater here, which he's really excited about.
I mean, it was fun. I mean, right next to that, what was it? The one place.
Oh yeah, the I forgot. Um Oh God, hold on. You like caught me off guard.
Mm.
I have it on here, but I guess there was like a little bit of tea with that. Um. Oh no, that's not. um. Steamy lit. Which is like, I mean, it's Steamy Lit Con, but they have like a store. They had a booth there. They do like all these types of things, but it's basically like um a book another book convention that's held in Anaheim. And it's all romance, based on romance, and every subgenre of romance, as long as it's romance, it's there.
Yeah.
But I guess from what I remember, see, because I knew that, like, I already knew about them, but I guess like what happened was, I think they were kind of banned. That was the last I had heard of, that they were banned from going, and I think a lot of people were like upset about it, that I think they allowed them to come, I believe. It was something like that, but I do remember them saying, or people just kind of being really upset, like, bruh, what the heck. So yeah, that was cool that we saw them, and I recognized them, so that was fun too.
Yeah. But yeah, we didn't go to a lot of like booth areas, or at least like, get a lot of stuff from that place, because of one thing, we didn't have that much money, so we couldn't really get a lot of things.
We were planning on going, but we didn't. It was still kind of up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we did go, we were like, oh. And plus, there's like other things that we had going on.
Yeah.
But I mean, we still went and spent money. That was the first thing that we did.
Oh yeah, that was the first thing that we did, and then we did nothing else. Just kidding. But yeah, we did manage to buy some books. And I have them right here. And hard cut. And I had to change rooms because parents got home. So, yeah.
Sorry, I chose that room because it has better lighting than my room. My laptop has been out. That's why my videos always look horrible. I asked my dad to fix it, and he has not.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, well, we left off in naming some of the books that we bought. First one I got again was Son of Storm. This one I know the name of this book, but okay, no, I don't know what the entire like series is called. Anyway, this one is about, in the city of Basa, Danso is a clever scholar on the cusp of achieving greatness, only he doesn't want it. Instead, he prefers to chase forbidden stories about what lies outside the city walls. The Basai elite claim there is nothing of interest. The city's immigrants are sworn to secrecy. But Danso stumbles across a warrior wielding magic that shouldn't exist. He's put on a collision course with Basa's darkest secrets. Drawn into the city of hidden history, he sets out on a journey beyond its borders, and the chaos left in the wake of his discovery threatens to destroy the empire. Kind of interesting. I also just like the cover. Very, very cool. So, and I just thought, this seems a little bit different than others I've read, so why not? Alec, do you want to choose one book that you bought?
Yes, one of them is The Haunting of Alejandra.
Yeah, you're good.
It is a novel by V. Castro. I just think it's kind of funny because my mom calls me Alejandra, and that is not my name at all. It's kind of long. Let's see. Okay, I'll read this first part. A woman is haunted by the Mexican folk demon La Llorona in this ravishing and provocative literary horror novel about motherhood, family legacy, and self-discovery.
That's cool.
I've heard about it. And I've heard a lot of people like it. So yeah, I'm excited to read it.
Nice. The one I got was Making It Home.
Oh, we forgot to.
What?
You cut me off, and I was saying something before, so I'm sorry. The stand or like store, I guess, that we
Mm-hmm.
got all the books from are from authors that were there that day. Um, and that was the only place that we bought books from. Oh, just kidding. That's not from there. But yeah, I mean, when we entered that little area, there was so many books and
I
there was
know.
so many people, and it was so cool because I mean, like I mentioned before, I was interested because of the lineup, because of the authors that were going. Um, but then like even just being there and seeing all of the books like in person, because there's so many authors and I'm really bad at like remembering that,
Mm-hmm.
which I know is so bad at me. Um, but like once I saw the books, I'm like, wait, this person is here. This person is here. And again, this is like a 2 day festival, so it was between you know those 2 days that there was all those people there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, continue.
Okay. Yeah, I got Making It Home. This one is wow, it's going long. When her brother dies from cancer and then her mother passes just 4 months later, Teresa Strasser has no one to has no one to mourn with but her irresponsible cantankerous trailer park dwelling father, Nelson. He claims not to remember her chaotic childhood, but he's a devoted grandpa. So, as her son embarks on his first season pitching in Little League, Teresa and Nelson form a grief group of two beach chairs lined up behind the first base line. There are no therapeutically trained facilitators and no rules other than those dictated by the Little League of America, the human heart. For Teresa and her father, the stages of grief are the draft, the regular season, and the playoffs. One season of baseball becomes the framework for a memoir about family loss and the fundamentals of baseball and life. They cheer, talk smack about other teams, scream at each other in the parking lot, care way too much about Little League. Making a Home is a bracingly honest journey through grief, self doubt, and anxiety armed with humor and optimism. After all, America's pastime may be just a game, but it always leaves room for redemption, even at the bottom of the lineup. This one I got just because I remember in what was it, junior high, I actually got a few books um that were about certain sports. I know one of them was about basketball. I can't remember what the other one was. Might have been baseball, but I remember finding those kind of interesting. And it's just I know the one for basketball was just about this kid going to some kind of sports camp and everything. He had some drama with this girl that he liked and all that who they used to play basketball with, but then she went off to play tennis and everything. And so I found them interesting, and so this like seeing this kind of just reminded me of that. But then also, I played Little League myself, so I thought, hey, maybe I can connect with this somehow in some way. I mean, not exactly what these characters are going through or anything like that, but I'm kind of curious as to, I guess, the portrayal of watching a Little League game or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. We shall see.
Um, so my next one. So one of my goals for this year is to read more in Spanish.
Mm.
I feel like I'm pretty good at my Spanish, and I feel like I'm pretty fluent in it. Um, I can both read, write, and obviously speak. But when I'm around people that that's their first language. Well, Spanish was my first language, but like that's the language that they speak in
Mm-hmm.
all the time.
Yeah.
I feel not good at
Mm-hmm.
it. And I don't like that. Um yes, Spanish was my first language, but I always went to school in the US, and I think the only time I did school in Spanish was like daycare, and I did 3 years of preschool. The first 2 years were, well, the first year was all Spanish, and then the second year was both English and Spanish. And then after that, everything was in English. But like in our house, my mom only talks Spanish. Um, so I think I'm pretty good at it, and even at work, I have to talk in Spanish a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And even like at all my jobs, I was always kind of the appointed translator.
Mm-hmm.
Which like is fine. I don't mind. Like I felt proud of that. But I do feel not that I'm forgetting it, but I don't like feeling uncomfortable when I talk it
Yeah.
or speak it. Um, because I shouldn't. And so yeah, that was one of my goals to read more in Spanish so that I can and I've been actively like doing other things too. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts in Spanish. I should probably listen to like audiobooks in Spanish. But just things like that that are like, you know, me trying to preserve it as much as I can, I guess, in my brain. So in
What?
you yawn.
Yeah, I'm tired.
So I got this book. There was a booth that sold books that were either translated in Spanish or just, you know, Spanish in general. Um, and this is like the one that the lady recommended, so I bought it. Because I did let her know like this whole thing. It's called El Puente de las Brujas, which is the Witch's Bridge, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I like the direct translation. By Juan Fernandez Marauda. I don't know how to pronounce the last name. Um, let's see. See, this is what I have trouble with. Like actually translating something very easily. Like it does not happen in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna read it in Spanish, and I'm sorry.
Who cares?
Yeah. Juan Fernández Marauda construye en su primer novela la voz de un observador que en medio de la contemplación de la naturaleza se encuentra el horror. Hay luz porque hay oscuridad. I believe it's like a not like a poem. I think it's like a novel. But the title stop yawning.
What? I'm tired.
The title did intrigue me. And like I said, that lady told me that she really liked it. So I'm giving her all the credit.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't like it, I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter.
Okay. Before I get to my last book, I have one book that I just got. It wasn't from the festival, but I just want to show it off. I got this. The Art of God of War Ragnarok. Look at that. I love these things. I already talked about reading the Spider into the Spider-Verse art book. I still need to read Across the Spider-Verse one, but yeah, I got that. Anyway, the last book that I got at the festival was Alebrijes, and this cover was absolutely fantastic. And then there's
I can't believe you almost walked away.
Oh, that's so cool. All right. Yeah. And so this one is about for over 400 years the world has been barren wasteland. The few humans that survived scraped together an existence in the cruel city of Pocatel or go it Pocat what? Or go it alone in the wilderness beyond, filled with wandering spirits and worms. They don't last long. 13-year-old pickpocket Leandro and his sister Gabi do what they can to forge a life in Pocatel. The city does not take kindly to cascabeles like them, the descendants of those who worked the San Joaquin Valley for generations. When Gabi is caught stealing precious fruit from the Pocatelan elite, Leandro takes the fall, but his exile proves more than he ever could have imagined. Far from a simple banishment, his consciousness is placed inside an ancient drone and left to fend on its own. But beyond the walls of Pocatel lie other alebrijes like Leandro who seek for a better world, as well as mutant monsters, wasteland pirates, and hidden oasis and the truth. Interesting. So basically, like this thing right here is the main character. This bird. So it's interesting. And really, I just got it because of the cover. I mean, come on, this is awesome. But yeah, those are all the books I got. I think you got like two more or three more.
I got one more.
Oh, okay.
The other one that I got was, I forgot which one's first. So we have this one. We had this one, the Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake, which I didn't even realize that we had. I just saw what the book was about, like, recently, like, I think in, like, February. And I saw what the book was about, and I freaked out, because I had no, like, I've heard of the book, but I just didn't know. And I remember running up to you, and I was like, did you know that this book is about this? And then you're like, yeah, we have it. So yeah, that was news to me.
Yeah, well,
and so
you added the fact that there's like magic involved in this. I didn't know that. I knew it had something to do with the Book of Alexandria or something, or Library of Alexandria. Book of
yeah.
and Library of Alexandria, and like how they were preserving, I guess, knowledge in there. But I thought it was just
it reminded me of that one show that you used to watch, The Librarian. That's basically the concept, no?
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. And like all of that stuff, not the librarian stuff, but like the Library of Alexandria and all that stuff, like I find it so interesting. I immediately like went into research more about it. Like I know like the basics of it, but I was like, no, I need to learn more. And so I started doing research before I read the book, just because I wanted to know more. So yeah, I've been like on a big. I haven't started the book, but I'm excited. And so I bought the second one, the Atlas Complex. So yeah, that's the other one that I bought that I am also very excited to read. I think the last one just came out, I believe, which is the Atlas Paradox, which is back here. So yeah, I'm excited to read them. And I almost didn't buy it, but I was like, no, I have
to. But yeah, those are all the books we bought, and we did go to one panel. This one, the panel.
It was kind of funny story too.
Yeah, I you'll probably have to remember most of it though, because but this the panel had three authors. One of them was okay, hold on. Roshani Choksky. I think I said that wrong. Oh well, sorry. She so I did not know she was gonna be in the panel. I know you wanted to go into this, and I was just kind of like whatever about it. And then as soon as we walk into the room, I see her name there, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like
that's not true.
I don't know. No, because you didn't know she was there in that one too.
No. What had happened was, so yes, I wanted to go to this panel specifically because, yes, there was 3 people, but this person, Isabel Cañas, who wrote these 2 books, The House of the Spirits and Vampires of El Norte, she, I think, believed that they were like the first of the day, but she was gonna be there, and I was like, ooh, I like really want to go see her. Well, I told him also, like, look up people that you want to go see, so we can try and figure out and see if we can see both. He did not, because he doesn't listen to me. So I chose that one. The other person was Melissa Marr, and then the one that he mentioned. So the whole time we were just gonna go see, my author. And then he finally, while we were buying the books, was looking at all the authors that were gonna be there, and he started looking at the schedule, and then he saw, the one that we were going to, and then he saw who was gonna be there, which is the author that he liked. And that's when he was like, oh, cool. But I, like, didn't hear him say that she was going to be there. And so I went back to look at the schedule, and I saw her name, because he like pointed out who like what she wrote. And I was like, wait, they're gonna be there together. And then even he was like, oh yeah, I know, that's what I said, but I didn't hear him. But anyways, what book did she write?
So she was there specifically to promote Last Tale of the Flower Bride. I have not read that one, but I did read the Pandava series, Arusha and the End of Time, Arusha, Song of Death, City of Gold, Tree of Wishes, and Nectar of Immortality. This one was her Rick Riordan Presents books. Basically, Rick Riordan, who wrote Percy Jackson, he got other authors to basically write their own version of Percy Jackson, but with their own culture. And hers had to do with Hindu mythology. So that's how I knew her from, and so I got pretty excited. Like, oh, okay, cool. This is someone that I know. Um, and I'm just gonna focus on her. But during the panel, she was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, she was pretty. They were all great.
Yeah.
But she stood out with her humor.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the other two authors, they were absolutely fantastic. I love their personal stories, how they put their life into the books that they wrote and everything. Mm-hmm. I think they were more standout on that. Roshani, she obviously talked about how she put her personal stuff into her books too, but she was just so hilarious the entire time. The first question that gets asked, she was right next to the host of the panel, and she goes, "Oh shoot, I shouldn't have sat next to you," because she didn't want to go first, and so she just kept making joke after joke and everything. So she was hilarious, and after the panel, I remember telling you guys, I was like, "Oh my gosh, sorry, dang, I should really mute Messenger." Not bad. But after the panel, I remember telling you, and you had a friend of yours with us. I was just like, I really need to reread these books now, because I feel like
now that you like know where she's coming from.
Yeah, like, and like the kind of jokes that she tells. I mean, granted though, I listened to the audiobooks when I got these, so the way that narrator was kind of saying the jokes was different, but I want to read them now because, like, again, Rashani, she has a specific type of humor, and the way she tells her own jokes, like, I can see that in the main character, but I didn't really fully picture it, basically. Mm-hmm. And so one day I'll get these books. I haven't bought them at all just because I want like a box set of them. And so I've yet to see that. I mean, I gotta maybe look it up more better, but yeah, one day.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Like I wish we would have done more, but honestly, like, this is the first time we did something like this. Like, we've gone to cons before, but not like a book one. And so we truly like didn't prepare, but I'm glad that this was like our first experience, and I'm glad that those 3 people were like the first ones we ever saw. And I do hope we get to do more in the future. Mm-hmm. Cuz it was like, I love how you said their personal stories and how they got inspiration to write their stories, and mm-hmm. what part of themselves they brought to each character and stuff. It's just so cool. Mm-hmm. And literally all 3 of them cried, and yeah. I cried with them. Like, yeah, I loved it. It was so fun.
No, yeah, it's great. And I mean, in terms of like personal stories, basically, one of them, I think it was just one of them, who is gay, has a wife. She does have a child, right?
2, I believe.
2? Oh, okay. She definitely struggled when she was younger, people not accepting her, especially her own family, her own community even. And there was, I think her latest book, she did put that in there, that like you had the main character who...
I think she said that, I mean, even though like all of her books have, parts of her, this one was like super personal to her. And she writes fantasy, so I forgot. Dang, I did look up the book that she went to talk about, which I believe recently came out, and it is pretty popular. It's called Remedial Magic, which is like, I believe they're like at a boarding school or something like that, and they're like witches. It's like edgier than Harry Potter, basically.
Yeah, for sure. No, actually, I remember the story she told, that she said she literally got bit by a snake, and like in that entire moment where she had to like literally drive to the hospital, she was obviously freaking out, but she wasn't like panicking so much. But in her mind, though, she was thinking like, "Oh, what if like there's a moment like this that causes your magic to come out?" Basically,
Mm-hmm.
like in the moment of like panic, sheer near death experience or something like that. That is when your magic comes out, and so that's basically how her story started and everything. And so, yeah, that's what you mentioned. A group of people going to school who just barely got their magic, basically.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad
Hmm.
that we went.
And then actually my favorite part though was when someone asked one of the authors, the one that was set in the middle, the one that in Norte book, they asked her like, "Oh, what was your dissertation about?" And she's just like, oh, "Thank you for asking that question." I can't remember what it was. Sorry, but it was just
Wait, it was really cool. It was a cool topic. Damn, I forgot to.
yeah, no, she was. We had like one question left, and someone was just like, "Oh man, what do we do? Like, what do we ask?" And she was just went. If someone wants to ask what I wrote on my dissertation, I would love that. And someone did. But yeah, that was hilarious. But it was a great panel overall, and again, I'm hoping one day I'll reread Arusha, or at the very least start her another one that she did. What's it called? The Spirit Class. I don't think it has anything to do with Arishak, because I know this is for sure a different mythology or religion. So yeah, but yeah, anything else that was there? Oh, we hold up, not to do with books, but like we ate.
Oh my god.
What was it? What was it exactly? Like
You ate.
yeah, I ate like some bun. I can't remember what it was called exactly.
It was like
Pork
a
bun.
pork bun.
Yeah, well, pork bun. That was absolutely delicious. Uh, yeah, there was all kinds of food there, so it was cool. um, but yeah, like we mentioned, there was many different genres of books over there. A lot of fun, and we should have talked about the guy that we met. Um, we saw this one dude who was just selling kids books, and we immediately like got drawn into the art of it. Like it looked really cool and everything. And he's the one that told us that this was like the second biggest book festival in the U.S. and everything. So we kind of just like we vibed with him, like and all that. And you got like some knitting plushies or something that he made or that he created. That was really cool. And but yeah, I don't know. We just talked to them.
Mhm. It was fun. But yeah.
Alrighty then. That was a fun adventure. On with the book. uh, right. The Knife of Never Letting Go. Um, should you start? No, you start because I
Well,
read
you
the.
have the book, so read the back.
Okay, fine. Okay. Town isn't like other towns. Everyone can hear everyone else's thoughts in a constant, overwhelming noise. There is no privacy. There are no secrets. Then, just 1 month away from the birthday that will make Todd Hewitt a man, he unexpectedly stumbles on a spot of complete silence, which is impossible. And now he's going to have to run. So yeah. But I want you to start with your thoughts because I read the entire trilogy and like I don't know how to convey my thoughts without spoiling
Mm.
it. And but yeah, you start first, non spoiler.
So I will say it was a little bit hard for me to get into it. Um, you specifically wanted me to listen to the audiobook, so I did.
Uh,
Um,
Wait, at what speed?
1.5,
Okay,
which is
which
not that fast.
is fast and not ideal for this.
I'm glad I did because I think that if it was slower, it would have made it harder for me to get into it. Um, I was just not a fan of the accents. Like that's what threw me off, and yeah, like it just reminded me of like not that I don't like the movie, and I guess that this is like a good comparison because I do love the movie, and I did really like the book, but with The Good Dinosaur, it's basically a western, and I don't like that. But I love the story and I love the movie, and this is how I felt with this one. I love the story and I love the book. Yeah.
Okay. I can understand the Western genre of it, I guess. It doesn't go into that in the next two books. I will say, for me, this is like my least favorite of the trilogy.
Okay.
Because like a lot of it is just setup.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just set up. But these two books, it's everything is execution,
Okay.
and it's absolutely fantastic. And like you're really not gonna like expect what's going to happen next. I'll say that. Okay. And so for me,
the ending, I was like, wait, what the what?
Yeah, we'll get into that. But you know, the first time listening to it, I thought it was okay too. I really liked. I mainly just liked the world, the idea of just all of men's thoughts coming out, and not just like the ones that are like right at the surface, but like just the little things. Even if like, you know, you could be walking and you're thinking about, you know, oh, what am I gonna cook dinner tonight, blah blah blah, and like you notice something in the corner of your eye. It's like, is that a squirrel or something? Like that's what you hear too. You know, like it just everything comes out, and like the book says, like there are no secrets. And so like that idea, I'm just like, that's fucking insane. And so, um, but then overall, as the story kept going, what really kind of got me was this one moment between Todd, the two main characters, like connecting, and so I kind of thought, okay, this is a little bit more interesting than I thought it was, and yeah, the ending, it ends on the cliffhanger. I'll say that. And that kind of got me to go, okay, well, I gotta read the next one then, because like I can't just end it off here. Like, what the fuck?
No, that ending definitely gets you. But yeah, like it was really interesting to find out like how the world works, and I mean, again, I am not like, because it's kind of sci-fi dystopian. Western,
and I mean, and as the books go on, it's about war, it's about like racism, slavery.
It's like a lot of things thrown together, but I mean, regardless, like I've mentioned before when we did Dune, sci-fi fantasy stuff, like I have never really gone into them, which is why I like doing this, because it kind of forces me to do it. And so like the world building was like super interesting, because you're like, wait, what the fuck is happening? Like, what's going on? And then even like to find out like their history, like with Violet, you know, like where she came from, and you know, and just like everybody, how they're like, oh, in the old world, or basically like we get to be, it's basically the US from before it was the US. It's like the colonies basically, but like in a different world.
Completely different world.
So yeah, it's like it was cool.
Yeah, that was definitely the interest. And my biggest compliment though is how the author took advantage that we're just hearing or like reading one person's perspective on this, and it's a man, and it's the boys whose like thoughts are going, you know, a million miles per hour, and like again, he really takes advantage of it. I try to remember one part in this book how he gets hit by Aaron, you know, where he gets attacked by him. This is minor spoiler, so but he gets attacked by him, he falls to the floor, and at one point he says, you know, but he didn't know that I still had the knife on my hand. Like, like those are his thoughts. And then because it's his thoughts that are out loud, he then says, Aaron heard that though. So he goes after my hand with the knife. It's just like, oh my gosh. Like this, and it's like, it almost causes you to panic, because it's like, you thought that. Why did you think that? No, it's out there.
It's like, oh dang. Even like in the beginning part where him and Violet meet, and he's like saying all these things or thinking all of these things, like like about her, like why can't I like read her, why can't I blah, 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 this and that, and she's like, I can hear you.
Yeah. Like he's, and but also too at the same time it's just like, oh my gosh, she can hear everything you're saying,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like, what is she actually? Okay, I think we should just get into the spoiler part of it. But yeah, overall though, this is a really good first book, a good first introduction to this. I so recommend reading the entire thing because it's definitely worth it. Again, you're not gonna expect where it goes, but where it does go, I will say there were like many emotional moments for me in Monsters of Men because the build up to it. Um, but yeah, so beginning part, um, we follow Todd. He's out in the swamp area and all that, collecting apples, blah blah blah. Um, but let me focus though is that when he goes back into the town, I know I'm skipping a lot, but um, I think we got the gist of it. We can hear his thoughts. We can hear everyone's thoughts, even the animals. I think there was a squirrel going like whirler, whirler, or something like that. It's just he's trying to get the attention of the dog Manchi, and everything. Like you hear everyone's thoughts. And so when he goes back to the town, he's just like, all right, let's just go right through this. Come on. And then in the audiobook, you hear just like 1,000 voices going off all at once and everything, which is like, it's cool for the audiobook. In the book, though, this is what you see. It's just,
Oh.
it just, yeah, barely readable. I mean, what does it say? Hands together with some rope. 1 month we have done. Oh my, what have we done? Oh my lord, disease, a germ from space, backs. Uh, yeah, just chaos. The
Wow.
whole thing. It's really cool. And he's passing by. He's naming just every single person that he sees by, and I mean, the one thing I kind of want to bring up for this is just like the environment that he grew up in. It was not just he's not just surrounded by men, but he's surrounded by men who are just thinking the worst thoughts coming out. There's one that was just dude going like, it's ending, it's all gonna end. It's like, what's the whole point of living? And then he goes, hey Todd, how's it going? It's just like like as if like
Oh
he's not just
no.
thinking these things, and it's almost
Yeah.
like sad. But I should mention basically the story that Todd was told was that humans came to this planet, hoping to have a simple life and all that, but shit happens. For one thing, there were natives in this planet. They went to war with them and pretty much killed off like half of their population. They won the war because they had the weapons, the more advanced weapons.
Classic colonization.
Yes. Um, and then he was told that the natives, the spackle, created a disease, hoping to just kill off all the humans, but instead got all the men, to hear their thoughts and eventually killed only the women for some reason. And so, yeah, he grows up in the town full of men who are just waiting till the end, trying to survive till the end and everything. But you also had some people just not being the best. What's the word? Um, Examples of um, how to be a man. That's very important, of how to be a man. But there are two people though that are great examples. Those are his dads, Ben and Killian. He grew up with them. Always, I mean, just kind of taught him how to survive in his own place, but also just treat him with a lot of love, especially with Ben, who he even Todd says, like, I trust him with my life. It's like he's the only one I really do trust. He has trouble with Killian, but that's only because he has trouble with Killian, but that's only because Killian is super strict. So interesting dynamic, but I like their relationship, especially later on with Ben. And so yeah, so it was just a normal day, and then when Todd was in the swamp, he notices silence. Just like he knows there is some hope. What's it?
Okay.
Uh,
Sorry.
it's
I
okay.
really had a cough.
He notices like just some hole like within all the noise and everything that he's just kind of like confused about. But he thought about that the entire time, or like he tried not to think about that the entire time he was in town. But it came out, everyone knew, and everyone wanted to go after him. Like, tell us about that noise. And in that moment, Ben and Killian thought it's time because something was going to happen in the 1 month on Todd's 13th birthday. Uh, and so whatever that thing was, Ben and Killian decided like he's gonna run away. He's gonna just go up to the next town over, which Todd did not know there was another town. um, and with all that chaos ensuing, Ben and Killian had tried to hold back the other men in the town. Todd left, and then later on he realizes what the silence was, and it was a girl, Viola. Well, we find that later on, but Viola, who is not saying a single word to him. She's very afraid of him, but at some point they had to run together because who knows what exactly the men in the town are after, either Todd or Viola. We don't know yet. And so, yeah, that's the start of their
How are
crazy
you saying
adventure.
her name?
Viola.
Isn't it Violet?
No, Viole. Viola.
I kept hearing Violet.
Well, probably because you were listening at 1.5 speed.
Or because of the accent.
That then you definitely should have heard Viola, because he puts like an emphasis on like Viola, you know.
No.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, but yeah, that is the start of their adventure, and the first hurdle they would deal with was Aaron, who is the preacher of the town, who is all about what's it? The sacrifice. What does he say? The sacrifice. One of us falls, we all fall. I can't remember what else he says, but it was just like all preachy stuff about the end of the world. But yeah. So they keep running, and first thing Todd notices is just like, why is she quiet? Like, what is she thinking? What what the fuck is going on with this person? Like, is she okay? And yeah, that's just like the beginning of the comedy of like how how you understand why some of the men went insane.
Yeah.
That like they could not hear someone else's thoughts, and like but theirs is just like going all over the place and everything. Um, we'll get into a little bit of Viola's backstory later on. Right now, just kind of focus on the plot. They start running, and at some point they make it to a bridge. But this is like right when the army was behind them, or at least the men of the town were like right behind them. They were like really wanting not to let them get past the bridge, and Viola just makes it fucking explode with some kind of like fireplace box that she used, like the oil of it. But like I think he even said like it wasn't that much of it, but it just caused like the biggest fucking explosion. Which for the other two books, I kind of want to say that's set up, but I won't say more. Anyway, but after they blew up the bridge, they meet a woman. Ooh, what is her name? I know I wrote it down. Give me a second. Hildy. Her basically first woman Todd sees, and he is just again confused, like what the fuck is going on. I thought all the women died. I thought there was no other towns. I thought all of these kinds of things. Why have I been lied to? And first joke I like is Viola goes, hello ma'am. And he goes, ma'am? It's like sir, but you say it to a woman. and it's just like so many things that he just like doesn't understand, or like how to basically like, talk to a woman instead. And so I just like those things. Okay, first, do you have any thoughts on what I said so far? I know I skipped a lot, but
no.
okay. Well, hopefully maybe you have a lot to say about this part. So they meet Hildy, again, first woman Todd sees, and at first she's just kind of like, "What the fuck did you blow up my bridge?" It has a gun pointed right at them, and all that. But Viola's the one that's being like, "It's like no, like, hey, there's people behind us. They're trying to attack. We don't really know exactly what they're trying to do, but we just don't trust them at all. If we just want to be somewhere safe and all that." And she goes, "All right, just come back with me, because I mean, they're kids, so obviously she's not gonna like fucking
Mhm.
shoot them. I don't think she ever was going to shoot them in the beginning. She just like wasn't sure why these two kids at all blew up a bridge. Um, so her Violet immediately connected with Hildy, obviously, because again, that's the first woman she also met on this planet, and she really wants answers. Todd is like away from them because this is for one thing, it just shows like how kind Todd is. There was another moment beforehand, but I really focus on this part because again, he was told that the women died from the disease that Spackle sent and all that. So he's trying to step away from like being like, okay, whatever disease I have, I don't want to get near them. I don't want them to catch it. Oh wait, hold on. If like there's this person here who's safe, not sick or anything, should she stay with her? Should I just leave and like back away? And this is like something constantly that Todd is thinking about. Just always thinking about Violet, like her safety and all that. Even though Todd's a bit of an asshole, uh, um, throughout the entire book, really throughout the entire series, like he is a bit of an asshole. Um, but you can tell deep down though that he is kind. One of my favorite moments, and I love like reading it. It was when Aaron first attacked them, and Violet ran away because I mean she didn't know Todd. She barely knew Todd, so she kind of went, "I'm out." But Aaron went after her, and he just went, "Okay, wait. If he's going after her, he's probably gonna catch her. I can just go back. I can go back. I can have a normal life, and like these things." But like, that these aren't surface thoughts. These are just like in the back of his mind. And then as soon as he hears Viola scream, he goes, "Never mind. I gotta go and save her." Again, deep down, he is a good guy. And then when Hildy leads him back to her house, we see her husband, Tam, who has noise. It's like, so again, he's shocked. Why are these two together? How is she not dead by now? Uh, what the heck? And what I like about when you see them both is that there is a way for basically a man and a woman to be together, even though the man's thoughts are spilling out and everything. Because again, when you first like know about the noise and all that, you just think like it's just gonna drive everyone insane. All the noise, all the thoughts that are coming out of you that you cannot keep secret at all, you cannot hide. Um, you think it's just gonna be chaos between the both of them, but no. Here's two people, obviously away from others though, but they make it work. They actually like still incredibly love each other, and they get along super well. And I remember this, and there was one line Tam says, he's like, no, sorry. Todd tells him like, how are you able to like hide your noise though, like so much? He goes, I mean, a lot of practice from this woman right here. you know, I get better at hiding, but she gets better at listening. And so it's
Yeah.
just like this constant connection between the two that like it almost like it'll never really fade from them, no matter how hard really anyone tries. And so that's kind of what I like about those two characters is that it is possible. Um, So, yeah, they spend the night there, and then Hilly takes them to Far Branch, where her sister is mayor. Yeah, mayor of the town, and that's when we see why. Well, we kind of get a glimpse of why Todd had to leave, but also didn't need to know anything because as soon as he gets there, he mentions Prentice Town, and then the entire time it's just like Prentice Town, Prentice Town. You see all those thoughts going out and everything, and one dude nearly like wants to attack Todd for being there, and Hildy's just like, "Hold up, this is just a child. Like, don't fucking do anything stupid, my guy." Um, but he wasn't having any of it. He did not want someone from Prentice Town to come here. We don't know exactly why, but this also is the reason why Todd didn't wasn't allowed to know anything, because if he knew something, then he's gonna end up being suspicious. But because he didn't know anything, people saw innocence within that, especially because he's still a child. Um, and so I find that clever.
Yeah.
I really like that, especially because you notice it with Tam and Hildy. Whenever Todd keeps asking these questions of like, how are you alive? How is it not a disease? Is there a cure for the noise? Like, what happened in Prentice Town? Like, I don't understand. Like, how are there so many towns? And they're just always looking at each other like, holy shit, this kid. It's like he doesn't know anything. Like, and but
But
also,
it's also like Why don't they just tell him?
Yeah, that is true.
That was frustrating.
But I mean, the thing though is, as you learn later on, knowledge is power, and but also knowledge can be a burden, and so they kind of that's why they didn't want to tell him, because like if you don't know now, it's best not to know at all. But
like clearly somebody's after them, which he can't hide either that somebody's after them. So yeah, that was frustrating. Especially like when it came to the end part. Yeah.
But yeah, they make it to the town. There's tension between Hildy and her sister and all that. But they were just put to work, and later on, the town decides whether they should stay or not. But the army makes it to Far Branch, and they start attacking everyone. And Todd is just like, "What the fuck are all of you doing?" He really, I think he mentioned like this is like he talked about one guy who could barely even butcher his own like meat, but he's out there just like going on the killing spree and everything. Like where was this all coming from? Like who was doing this exactly? And one thing I want to point out is that he finds Mayor Prentice, who we find out in the beginning that like he is the one that's like who is trying to teach all the other men to like control their noise because they think it can't be controlled. And the one way he does that is by doing this like little chant. I am the circle, and the circle is me. I want to show you like how the text looks like in that.
I'm the force.
Yeah, but you see how like the text font is like different from everything else, because like it just kind of wants to show that how clear, I guess you could say, his voice is. And so yeah, that happens. And so when they get attacked, though, Todd and Violet decide, okay, we just gotta keep running, and we gotta make it to the end of the map, which is New Haven. New Haven, or is it just Haven? I think it's just Haven.
I think it's New Haven.
Okay, my bad. It's fine.
Something Haven.
Yeah, but they realize like they gotta make it to the end, because if they stop anywhere else, their armor's just gonna end up there, and so they run and run and run. And in those moments, there's little moments between them that like they just kind of get to this routine. They run, take a break, share a snack, blah blah blah. I will get to. It was an interesting moment, but it was actually like the slowest part of the book, where Aaron attacks them and like knocks the shit out of Todd and everything. Oh, you know what? Hold on, I skipped a really big part actually. They were attacked by Davy Prentice. Yes, my bad. They were attacked by him. He's talking all this mad shit. Basically being like just really creepy, perverted, and everything. And he decides like, okay, should I kill Davy or should I let him go? But he can't kill him at all. And Viola points out, it's like, don't kill him, because that is what the army wants. That's the one thing that they figured out at that point, is like, they finally figured out like they want Todd specifically. They don't care about the girl. They just want Todd, because if one of us falls, we all fall. So Mayor Prentice wants all of the men to like be on his side, to become killers and join his army, so he can basically take over the world. And so that was kind of the decision of okay, I won't kill him, so that I won't be like him, but like them. First complaint of the book. Immediately after that, they see a spackle and Todd kills them. Yeah. It's like
I did feel the same after that. I'm like,
really? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Guess that one nowhere.
Because like, especially because like they were all like, "You're good, Todd. You're a good person. You would never hurt someone." They see a speckle and just he immediately kills him. And I mean, I liked the writing of it. How he clearly is disturbed by what the fuck he just did. I mean, I think that like the book points out, it's like he hears the crunch of like the
Yeah.
Spackle's ribs and everything. He sees his blood. It's like it's red. It's actually red. What the heck? And like and all
You
that.
do get like listening to the audiobook, you do get the sense of like not urgency, but just like his paranoia like
Mhm.
does get to you.
Yeah, and it works too because again, these are his thoughts, and so
Mhm.
of course he's going like he's thinking a million thoughts a
Miles,
second.
yeah.
Yeah, and all that, and so it really really works. And um after that moment, yeah, they get attacked by Aaron. He knocks the shit out of Todd and all that, and they point out that his blood mixed with the Spackle's blood, and it caused all kinds of illusions, I guess you can say, going on, which I thought was interesting. But again, this I gotta say was kind of the slowest part of the book for me. He basically has to figure out a way to get to Violet because Aaron took her. Um, but while he's doing that, again, he's seeing all these kinds of illusions. Specifically, he sees himself as a kid. It's a neat moment of him, I guess you could say, like letting go of his childhood. Like for himself to like man up and face a fear, and even though he doesn't know how it's going to end, um, it was still a neat moment. And actually, that's also another part though, where like it's all a bunch of like writing. Where I think it's right here. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just like crazy, crazy writing. I love it. Um, but he manages to get to Aaron. Sadly, Manchi dies in the process.
I
Fucking
hated that moment.
dude.
I literally was like, "There's no way! Like he's coming back. He's coming back. Like, say you're joking.
Mm-hmm.
say."
It's like no, it was just an illusion, another illusion. But no, they make it to a river from a boat that Todd made. That was cool. Uh, and he wakes up. I think what she say like a couple days for sure. It was like a couple days later, but but they were for sure a week ahead of the army and all that because of going through the river. And they end up in the town where they were not afraid to show their misogyny. And oh my god,
The way she was like, "We need to leave,"
yeah,
and
it's like
now I said, "Yeah, you do."
yeah, I this is like the only town that like seemed safe to her to land because she mentioned that like all the other towns that she passed by, they were just like living horribly, like barely eating, barely have houses and all that. So this is the only one that like looked okay, but it just happened to be a place where the men do not want the women to be in charge. Um, I mean, which is interesting because Far Branch, even Todd noticed it. Like he seemed like this town seems like it's all run by women. Like it's a woman in
I
charge.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it wasn't all women though. Like there were men and everything,
Hmm.
but like it just seemed like the women were in charge, which cool contrast, I guess. Um, and what was that one moment? I wish I would have marked it, but I didn't get to finish the entire book. Like rereading the entire book. I mean, but like I think one of them just goes like, "Hey, like Todd, tell your woman to like keep it down or anything like that." He's just, and to me, it just felt like he knew what he was about to say was kind of dumb, but it needed to still be said. It's like she's her own woman and all that.
Yeah.
He just says like, and the look that Viola gave me, it's just like I don't know why, it's just so funny. Oh my god. But in that town though, we meet Ben, and we find out Killian is dead. He was killed by the army, but Ben made it out, and he's been trying to like stay as far away from the army, but he also has to stay close because he knows they're going after Todd. They managed to find him. Um, there was some chaos going on with the town of the misogynistic man being like, "You're from this town, you know the law. You, like, you left the town, you gotta have to die." But the army came, and so they were just like, "Fine, just fucking go." Um, so they run, and we finally get the whole story. Um, kind of, maybe. Who knows? You gotta read the other books. Um, but Ben finally tells them what actually happened in Prentice Town. So the army, the war was real with the speckle. There was no um, disease that they created that caused the noise. No, this happened like this day one that they landed, and the chaos started right away. Um, but the war did happen afterwards. There was some peace, but the men just could not handle the fact that women could hear the thoughts, and so as time went on, um, there was sort of like a war between the men and the women, um, and the one leading the women's side, I guess you could say, was Jessica Elizabeth, which that was what the town used to be called. Prentice Town used to be called New Elizabeth, um, and basically he tells them that all the men killed the women because they couldn't handle it. Ben and Killian were not part of that. Killian for sure wanted to like fight on the women's side to protect him and all that. Ben wanted to stay out of it. He wanted to get Todd's mom out of it and everything, but um, him doing nothing was just as bad for him because
Mm-hmm.
she still ended up dying and ended up getting killed basically because of that. And by the time it was too late, there was already a law in place that all the men in Prentice Town are going to stay there, so they had no choice but to stay, and they raised Todd on their own. And I mean, you can kind of say that's how Todd ended up to be good because for them it was just like raise him with all the love that they can, the one that his mother would have shown them.
Mm-hmm.
Because Todd technically is the one with just good parents by his side. You have Davy Prentice, who is the son of Mayor Prentice and all that, but you can tell that he just probably didn't really care about his son much. um, and Davy just kind of took all the wrong things from all the other men in the town. And so, I don't know, it's just kind of interesting how I think this is definitely one thing that they kind of bring up more as the books go on of like this whole sort of nature versus nurture thing. Like, and you have to question like, okay, why is Todd like this? Like, why is he not able to kill at all, even when like the person clearly deserves it, especially with Aaron, and all that. And so that's one thing to keep in mind, I guess, as you're reading the next few books and all that. Again, this is all set up. Like, it's why it's
Yeah.
like this book's so slow, and then why I'm skipping a lot. I can go to like a whole lot more details about this book, but like I just don't know if it's that important for the main plot of this. Um, the parts that I am hitting, I just feel like it is kind of important once you read it back after reading the entire thing. Though it's kind of like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. Like I feel like I'm kind of seeing this in a new light and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah. But Davy catches up to them actually, and they had to separate from Ben. Sadly, so it's just Todd and Violet on their own now, and this is where, yes, this is where their relationship for sure connected now, because Todd is complaining that he got separated from Ben. He's just like, well, fuck this. It's just like, what's the point now? I don't have Ben with me on my side, and Violet's just like, hello. I don't
Yeah.
have no one, boy. Okay, I literally only have you now. So like, please, like, get it together, and let's go. um, um, but yeah, so she kind of just tells them to like get it together. They start running, and to take a break. I didn't mention this. When Todd first ran, Ben and Killian gave him a book. Turns out it was his mother's book, a journal that she wrote when she was no, when
No, she had just been born.
yeah, he had just been born. Actually, I don't know if you even caught this, but like they're saying Todd was the first boy to be born in the planet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What about the other boys? Did they say that they were like in some kind of hibernation too?
Hmm.
That actually like my biggest
I just
concern.
thought they were older.
But they've been there for like 20 years though, or maybe like 10 to 20 years or something. And Davy is like 2 years older than him. So how is he the first boy to be born here.
Well, how long had they have been there?
Like I said, like 20 years at least. Maybe a little bit less, but like that's why I'm so confused.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. That's an interesting question. I don't know.
Yeah, I really, I don't know. I'm so confused by that. I think they might explain it in the second book, but I could be wrong. Like, I mean, if I don't remember it at all, then they probably just didn't mention it. But yeah, that's. I feel like that might be like the biggest flaw in the entire book. That makes no sense. The timeline, at least. I mean, unless it was a line that's saying like, the rest of the kids were like in hibernation while they were getting settled or something, and they didn't
Mhm.
touch them um, before the army like or the war broke out or something like that. But yeah, it's weird.
Mhm.
So the journal was his mom's, and um, Todd can read. Todd, he cannot read, and it did not work well when he needed to read the map. And it literally said right there, "You need to warn them." it's just, it's just like fuck. Like, how the hell was I supposed to know this at all? Like, what the hell? um, but Violet can, and he finally asked her like, "Okay, can you read the book? Like, I want to hear like my mom basically." And he asked her specifically, "Can you do our accent, please?" Yeah, and I mean, it was nice to know that she just says like, I can't wait for you to be like to grow up in this world, a new world, hopefully where there's more peace and everything. Um, and I mean, the bit gist of it is just like he knew like the love that she had for him and all that. And when Viola finishes reading it, she starts to cry. And oh, I think I did mark this time. I think I might have marked it. I could be wrong. Oh no, I did not. I failed.
I mean, it was basically that, like, because the whole time you could see him being frustrated at the fact that, like, he doesn't know. I'm just gonna call her Violet. I'm sorry, because that's what I kept hearing. Uh, he couldn't find this connection to her. He couldn't, um, like, uh, because he couldn't hear her thoughts. He just felt very like it was all one sided type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so in that moment, he was finally like, I see, like, I understand her now. I see her
Mm-hmm.
now. And she started crying because she kind of put herself in his shoes and used, like, his mom as, like, her parents and, like,
Mm-hmm.
how they felt towards her.
Yeah, we didn't get into her background, but Viola was from outer space. She this is a
Xenon.
Xenon. This is a different I guess colony that went like a few years after Todd's people left the planet, and her parents were scouts. They were gonna go there, set up a town basically, before the rest of the people came. But when they came down, something happened with their ship, and it basically just caught fire. And she was the only survivor. Her parents died, um, and so that's why she said, I don't have anyone else. I literally only have you. And so after she reads the book, yeah, Todd goes, I know what she's thinking. Like I know exactly what she's thinking. She misses her parents. She wishes that they were here, and everything. And it's a really really nice moment because like it's a true connection. I guess you can say like her reading his thoughts. Like that's just not. It's a connection, but yeah, like you mentioned, it's one sided though. Like it's only she can understand like what he's thinking, who he is. But like he actually had to put in work to actually like figure out who she is, and what she is thinking. And it there's a great moment in the third book where that just whole that whole thing.
You just spoiled it for me.
No, what like what did I spoil?
I can't say now.
What? Why?
I have to tell you afterwards.
Okay, hold on. I'll cut it out. Okay. Okay, hold on. 125.
So then she survives.
Why do you think she was dead?
Because she was dying at the end of the book.
Oh! I'm sorry.
You're an idiot.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I guess that was a big
You
spoiler.
need to
I'm
stop
sorry.
mentioning the other books.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, that's my bad. All right. I forgot where I left off. Oh yeah, I guess yeah. It's a true connection, basically, one that he actually sort of worked for, I guess you can say, um, to really understand someone. But yeah, and then eventually find out that they're just like very close to Haven. They're like right there. They can see it, but then they see Aaron in the distance too, and they're just like, "Fuck, he's gonna catch up to us." So they just like book it. They run and run and run, but Aaron's right behind them. He's shooting a gun at them and everything, and so it's just all chaos ensuing. And eventually, they kind of just set up a trap for him. They manage to find some cave, and they fight. They're losing. They're kids. Aaron's a big guy. They start losing, but eventually, Todd does get the upper hand, but he can't kill him. He still couldn't do it even after all this. Also, I should mention, Aaron is all fucked up on his face. He got attacked by a crocodile. He got hit in the head so many times. I think they might have slashed his face with a knife at some points. There's just like, I think they said that his nose was gone. Like, he's all fucked up. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was funny. Um, so he couldn't kill him, but Violet could. She ends up killing Aaron. Even same thing. I think even Todd says like he hears the crunch, like the same thing he heard from Spackle. And I gotta get to the worst part of the book. I don't like this part where Violet is freaking out and she's just like, "Oh God, what did I do?" It's just like I'm just like them, I'm a monster and all that. It's like I'm a killer and everything. He's like, "No, no, no, you're not." He's like, "You know what I think? Here's I hate this part so much." He goes, "You know what I think? I think we all fall, but there's like, but we can always get back up and everything." And I was just like, I fucking hate this part. Like, it just comes out of nowhere. And like, I even every time I re listen to it or reread it, I'm like, you could have set it up here. You could have like done it here with Ben telling that whole story about how like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
how he regrets not doing anything, and he could have just said like, me raising you brought me back up. Just say that,
Mm-hmm.
and then lead to this. I think I wrote the quote exactly. It's not about how you fall, it's about how you get back up, basically. I hate this quote. It's so stupid, and they bring it back up in the other books, and I'm like, stop it. That's not spoiler, come on. um, but yeah, um, they get away from him, and then Davy shows up, and he starts shooting them too. No, wait, no, I'm sorry. No, I fucked up. They make they stop him though. They make it to the town. They're just like, yeah, we did it. And then he hears like a snick, and Viola got shot by Davy, and so he's just like, fuck, and he carries her, takes her to the town, and when he gets there, it's all empty. Like no one is coming out. He does see people inside the houses, but like again, no one's coming out for some reason. And then he sees Mayor Prentice, and he's just like, "How the fuck did you get here? Like we're like days ahead of the army. What the heck?" And he mentions like, "I just came here. I came here on my own." And he's like, "Okay, but how'd you take over the town?" It's just like, even just a rumor of the army, like, can get scare people. And so, yeah, Mayor Prentice took over New Haven, uh, and yeah, that's how it ends. Cliffhanger, which again, very smart on the author, because had it not ended like that, I probably wouldn't have listened to the other books. Like had it been like some kind of happy ending, I would have just like left it off there. It's like, oh, okay, I guess maybe I'll listen to it some other time. But like no, it ends on the cliffhanger, and I was just like, well, I gotta know what happens next. Like, anyway, but yeah, that is the whole story. Again, all set up, not not the most interesting first book. I feel like I can like say a lot more with like Percy Jackson first book, with Arusha first book and everything. But again, it's so worth it once you read the second and third books, and especially to come back to this one afterwards, because I feel like you get a lot more. You understand a lot more of the setups.
Clearly, you don't.
I did not find that important. Sorry. Um, I think the only important part in that scene that I didn't bring up was the whole seeing a church within the caves that they were in. They were like drawings. I think actually there was like a neat description of it. Basically, like they were by a waterfall inside a cave, and there were these drawings within it. And I think they realized that there was gonna be like a church there or something. Because I thought maybe like would have been beautiful to have it there. Basically, it was one of like the first things uh, that the people did work on that because they were full of hope in that moment, but clearly the church wasn't done, and it was because it all went to shit. So that was a neat description. Um, but yeah, yeah. Any other thoughts?
Mm-mm.
Alrighty then. The next one we will read the Ask and the Answer. This one I'm very excited about. Won't be for a while though because someone is going on a trip. Where are you going?
Europe.
Mm-hmm. Nice, cool. Uh, so yeah, it'll be a while by then. Hopefully, I'm gonna try to read some other books while you're gone. We'll see where it goes. I don't know. I'm probably gonna re-listen to the audiobooks for these though and write down some notes. Um, but check us out on Red Spotlight Entertainment. We did our top 10 of the decades so far. That was really cool. Very long podcast, but
Very long.
yeah, but still really really cool. Alexis and I, Alexis Soto and I, not this one, started our audio commentaries for Agents of Shield. Uh, Alexa started noticing like a resurgence for the show and everything, so we were just like, let's get on it. Let's see. Then for me on Questioner, Sergio did do a podcast recently. I talked about Princess Peach Showtime. It was neat. Um, Still playing Sea of Stars. I don't know when I'm gonna upload that, but I did also start playing Arkham Knight, and my god, that's that game so fucking cool. The graphics are amazing, and the fight scenes are like the best. I'm actually like really really impressed by it. um, but yeah, anything else that I missed for our other channels?
I don't think so. I
Mm,
think that's it.
okay. Well, hope y'all enjoyed that. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.